Today is still July the 2nd, and we're at my Father's house, and the disciples are meeting for edification. And we're going to go back and look now at the beginning. And to look at the beginning, the beginning began in Genesis chapter 1. Now get that down, where the beginning began. Everybody needs to understand that it began in the beginning with Genesis chapter 1. And if somebody wants to read it, there's not that many chapters, but you can read it. God was starting something up. And it started off with Adam. Then it come up with some animals. And then there's whatever God has created, that might have been created before that, before he did the earth. I mean, I'm not saying when God created the angels. I'm just know he might have created them, and the angels might have watched him create the earth. I don't know. I weren't there. But I'm here at my Father's house today, and the Spirit of the Lord is the Spirit of the Lord in Genesis chapter 1. And the Spirit of the Lord was over the waters. And in a few minutes, God started talking and said, let. That's the first thing that you're going to read God said. And then it was, and then things went on. But it goes on that it's not too long. There's a conversation that goes on between Adam's wife and not with Adam. And she gets convinced that it might be good to know good and evil. And anyway, she ate off the tree that God had already said, don't eat off of that one, because in the day that you do, certain things will happen. And because God said it was going to happen, it did. But anyway, God came looking for Adam in the garden, and Adam was hiding. God had never had to hunt Adam. I mean, I don't know how much noise God makes, when he comes into the garden. But I'm sure Adam heard him coming, and Adam decided to hide. And Eve hid with him. But anyway, he called, and Adam said, well, there ain't no need me hiding, because I know he's going to find me. That was the first hide and seek. And God wasn't interested in seeking, so he just called him. And Adam and Eve come out, and he looked at him, and he said, my goodness, what in the world has happened to y'all? God had seen leaves on trees, but he ain't never seen no leaves on people before. Adam and Eve were done trying something. But anyway, God got a deal going, and God didn't make a deal. He said, what happened? You can read about all this, folks. It's in the Bible. It's in the first 2, 3, 4 chapters of Genesis. And you can see what God said to Adam. Where are you? And then he said, what happened? Adam said, well, my wife. Adam was at least smart enough not to lie to God. I mean, it would not have been good for Adam to say, well, me and Eve was out there, and I decided me and her is going to eat. No, that wouldn't have went over good. But anyway, God found out that Eve had given Adam something. And then God wanted to talk to Eve, and God talked to Eve. And it's amazing, folks. Eve didn't lie to God either. I mean, she came right out. The serpent, the devil, whatever. He talked to me, and I decided, and I took, and I gave some to Adam, and he ate. And here we are, wearing leaves. Well, then God got to the devil. And then he told the devil, well, Mr. Devil, since you've done this, you get to be king of the earth. You get to rule forever. You get to be God from now on. Folks, please read and see that that's not what God said. The devil didn't get to rule the earth then, and he may be overruling some folks now, but he ain't ruling. No. The one who told the devil what you read about in Genesis, he ain't walking in the garden down here anymore. He's got him a big house in heaven. He got him a city. That thing got 1,500 miles high walls and 12 gates. It's a big one. Ain't nobody put up no gates of pearl down here. They ain't got no streets of gold down here. No. I'm going to walk on one day, folks. That's my intentions. I'm going in the gate. But before I go in the gate, I got some more stuff I got to do here. Yeah. And right now I'm waiting for Jesus. And when he gets here, the devil gonna be gone. He won't be bothering me anymore. Because as soon as Jesus gets here, guess what his Father's gonna do? I'll tell you what his Father's gonna do. He's going to glorify some more sons and daughters. That's what he's going to do. And when he gets them glorified, they don't get unglorified. No. They get to rule with Jesus. The King that God had born, he going to be the King. He was born to be the King. And he going to be the King. God promised David, there'll be one on your throne. And I know what his name is. Because the angel told Mary, you named the boy Jesus. And she did. Yep. But anyway, we back in Genesis now. I mean, I kind of jumped from Genesis to way on over. But God is, God saw, what was going on. And if you read in the next few chapters, you see where God said, I'm sorry, I made man. He was grieved in his heart. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Folks, I don't know what Jesus thought when he finally got to see Noah, or when he gets to see Noah. But the Lord I'm talking about sits on the throne. The Lord that he raised from the dead can sit down with him on that throne. I don't have any intention to sit on that throne. Nope. I'll be happy to sit on the one where Jesus sits on when he gets back. While you watch from heaven as your children do what they're supposed to do. And those who don't want to do what they're supposed to do, they might find out that there's a lake of fire. And I'm talking about that lake of fire is going to be a lake of fire forever. I've told some folks in the last 2 or 3 days, Muhammad is in hell. He's wishing somebody could touch his tongue with a little bit of water. But Muhammad ain't coming with Jesus. Nope. We'll see tens of thousands of holy ones, but ain't nobody going to see Muhammad. Nope. I'm sorry, folks. And